Hi, it's Mike. How are you today? Today I want to talk about the top 9 reasons why many people are leaving the state of Arizona. And number one on our list is the summers. It's hot. I mean, a lot of people come over here and visit for the first time during baseball season in the spring and March, or sometime over the winter. They get here, they love the weather, they're having a great time, they're outdoors. They wake up, the sun's shining every day, and they're like, you know what, I'm ready to leave California. I can afford a home over here. It's going to be the first time I've been able to buy a home, and they end up moving over here. Once they're over here, they get to their first summer, and they're trying to prepare for it, but there's just no real way you can prepare for it. And depending on where you're from, if you're from San Diego or somewhere around the beach, you're just not used to it. And the bottom line is, in August, September, and into October, it's really hot here. What makes it really worse than it normally would be is just the fact that we add humidity into the equation because we have our monsoon season, which is our rainy season. And once you add humidity to 110 degrees of heat, you create a really uncomfortable environment for people to live. So a lot of people, one of the top reasons why people are leaving Arizona is the weather. They've just had it with living through these hot summers, so they're looking for somewhere else to go. Number 2 on the list is it's getting overpopulated in a lot of areas. We've grown so much over the past 15, 20 years that now people that have lived in certain areas that were rural before, that had no other homes around them, now they're feeling like a can of sardines. There's just a lot of people that have lived here that are, they liked it the way it used to be. That's the bottom line. And now they have neighbors all over. They have more traffic when they want to travel. Their grocery store is busy all the time, and they just feel uncomfortable with it. And some of them are, since they're retired or they're going to be retiring, they can move to other areas that are less expensive and less crowded, and that's where they can go. Arizona continues to grow more to the west and to the south, and they can go and buy a brand new home for less money, sell their home in Scottsdale or one of the other cities, and move somewhere else. So other states too, a lot of people are moving to Kansas and Indiana and a lot of other places. At the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about where most people are moving from and to that are leaving Arizona. The next thing I'm going to talk about is just the cost of living. I mean, in the last 3 to 4 years, many home prices are up almost 50%. The influx of people coming in, and we have 2 different things happening at the same time. We have a lot of retirees moving to the area, the baby boomers, the biggest retiring age group. And then we have the influx of the people that are moving here that can work from anywhere. And they decided, I'm going to leave Chicago, I'm going to leave California, and I'm going to go somewhere where I can have good weather and it's going to be more affordable. But it's more affordable depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from Chicago, it's probably about the same cost. But if you're moving here from California, you still think it's cheap. In our last video we talked about the cost of living and, moving over from, say, Los Angeles. Everything's pretty similar in price, but when you get to homes, Los Angeles is almost twice as expensive still as the greater Phoenix area, depending on where you're living. Now, in certain prime areas of Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, we've had huge price increases, and people are paying up to get what they want, and if they can afford it, they're going to buy it. The next reason why people are leaving, number 4 on our list, is lack of things to do. Some people move here and they say that we lack in culture. We lack in some of the things that they're looking for. If you're coming from New York or you're coming from a big city like Chicago and you're used to going to the opera or you're used to going to the ballets and all those things, we have that stuff, but we don't have it all the time, and it's not everywhere. Culture is definitely not the same as it is in a major city. We're still a little bit of a country western town here in Arizona. So that's definitely something that people, they don't like it. They want something new. They want to try something different. so they leave the state. That's just one of the things that people talk about. It wouldn't be a reason why I'd leave the state. To me, there's so much to do here, and most of it's outside, and I just love it. And I love nature. I love everything about the desert. I just think it's beautiful here. And I guess the bottom line for me is the sun shines every day. And that's something that I never had when I was growing up in Chicago. Number 5 on our list of why people are leaving is the air quality. You know, we definitely have some issues with air quality, and the heat doesn't help. You know, what happens in the summer is the buildings and everything get heated up, the concrete, the streets, and with the atmosphere coming in, we get a lot of smog and stuff blowing over here from Los Angeles. And Phoenix is kind of like down in a little bowl. You know, they call it the Valley of the Sun. Well, it's in a valley, and down in the valley, you get the accumulation of some smog. So people that have breathing issues and stuff like that, they may want to leave the area because of that. You know, and especially if it's a health concern, you know, they may want to go somewhere else. Now, of course, if you leave the city, you go out into the suburbs or further out, it's not as intense, it's not as bad. You know, if you go further up north, it's definitely not as bad. So, you know, there's options here, but that's one of the reasons that people would leave the state. Number 6 on our list, the influx of Californians and other Western states. Yeah, people here are apprehensive to change. They like it the way it is. They don't like some of the politics and things that go on in California, and it does bother some people. Overall, I feel that, yes, people are going to leave for those reasons, but overall, it's a very neutral place. You know, we have a lot of balance here. It's pretty down the middle as far as politics. There are parts of town that are more one way or the other. And, you know, those are areas where if you have beliefs like that, maybe those are where you want to live. There's definitely a different feeling of politics between Tucson and Phoenix. You know, they lean a little bit more one way or the other. But overall, I'd say Phoenix in general is pretty much in the middle. But when people come over here from other states, the local people don't want them to try to take over and change things the way they're used to them being. That's just like anywhere, I think, in general, that people don't like change. The next number 7 on our list here is crime. You know, Arizona is a border state, and with border states, you get a lot more illegal immigration. I can't say that necessarily leads to more crime. Overall, if you look at the crime statistics over the last few years in Phoenix, I would say in general, they're about the same. You know, definitely looking at the news is out there, and there's a lot of shocking stuff on the news. It's never good news, let's put it that way. And, you know, you're going to see there's a lot of things. There are certain parts of Phoenix that are worse than others, and that's where you're going to see a lot of stuff that you see on the news. Overall, again, I don't think crime is a huge growing concern. We have strong police forces, and we use them. The next number 8 on our list, why people are leaving, is people want 4 seasons. You know, to some people, the fact that the sun is shining every day and the weather is pretty moderate most of the time, they feel like they're not getting their 4 seasons. I'm from Chicago, so I'm clearly aware of 4 seasons, and to me, we do have seasons here. When it gets down in the high 30s during the winter, that's enough of cold for me, and it only happens usually less than 10 days a year, but that's enough of the cold for me. That's winter. During the summer, it's hotter than heck. That's summer. And then we have a little bit of a fall and a little bit of a spring in between, where we have very moderate temperatures and the sun shining. So to me, we still have 4 seasons, but there's definitely places in Arizona where you can go and have 4 seasons. If you go up into the mountains in the north, it's green, there's pine trees everywhere, and you definitely are going to get snow in the winter. You're going to get much colder and longer winters, and summers are going to be much more mild. So you can have 4 seasons here, but a lot of people do come here and they get tired of the heat, they get tired of the long summers, and they want to move to go somewhere where they can get the 4 seasons. And the last on our list, but not the least important, is jobs. A lot of people come here basically based on the weather, I think, originally. And then once they get here for a while, they realize that the job market is not as strong as many other major cities where they come from. If you're coming over here from California and you can't work remotely, you're going to have a harder time finding the higher paying jobs that you're used to living over in the Bay Area or Los Angeles area. Arizona was primarily a service economy, and it's getting better, but it's still, there's going to be less high paying jobs over here than there are in some other major cities. And that's the bottom line. So people come over here, they take a job, they're making the money they want to make, they're able to buy the home and do all these things. But when the economy turns and things turn down, they may have to go back to California to find a job, because there's just going to be many more higher paying jobs over in Silicon Valley and some of the major cities around the country. So where are people moving to when they leave Arizona? So I'm going to click here and share my screen. And here's the top 5 areas where people are moving to. And number 5 on the list is the state of Washington. Now, I don't know why these statistics are so old, but they were done in 2019. But in general, they're pretty consistent to current times. So moving from Arizona to Washington, we had about, let's say, 8,500 people move over. But what we had coming from Washington was almost 10,000 more people. So we get almost twice as many people coming from Washington State as we do leaving. Next on our list is Nevada. As far as Nevada, we get about as many people coming here and moving away. It's almost pretty much equal. So it's kind of a net no change in general. Colorado, in general, we get more people. We get 10,000 plus people a year leaving here to move to Colorado, but we also get 14,000 plus moving here. So net, we're getting more people coming to Arizona than leaving to go to Colorado. And don't forget, some of these statistics take into the fact that people buy second homes. So people move to Arizona may have a second home in Colorado, or they may have a second home in Arizona if they don't like, the really cold winters in Colorado. Number 2 is Texas. Moved from Arizona to Texas, a little over 20,000. And then moving from Texas to Arizona, around 17,000. So we have more people moving to Texas than we do moving to Arizona, but it's almost a wash. Why do more people move to Texas? Because they have moderate weather, but many of their major cities have more higher paying jobs than we do in Arizona. And the last state is California. You can see moving from Arizona to California, we had about 30,000. But in these 2019 statistics show that we had about 60,000 moving here. The bottom line is, I think we probably get more like 70,000 to 100,000 right now from California, but we probably have 30 to 50,000 people that end up moving back to California in the long run. So anyway, these were just a couple of reasons why people are leaving Arizona. Ultimately, we normally have more people moving back to the state or moving to the state than we do leaving. Take a look at our other videos on I'm from Scottsdale, and on our Arizona real estate market. We have some great tips and tricks for buyers and sellers. And you can watch our other videos on local real estate content and living in Arizona. Thanks for watching.